deeper learning as students are actively engaged in the learning. I would also define that as students are taking ownership of their learning as well, and students are being ambassadors of their classroom and being role models and leaders. Students are making deep connections, and students are able to look back into the text and make meaning of the text. So the program that we use here is called HMH Into Reading. Today's students were participating in the first read of a poem. They were working in groups to dissect a poem and to build their knowledge on how people can adapt when they move to a new home.
Today we are going to synthesize information from, what's this word? Poetry. In order to summarize how people, what's this big word? Adapt to new experiences and make a new place home. I would like to start with reviewing our essential question that we have been focusing on throughout all of Module 8. Who would like to read the essential question? Shadri, nice and loud.
How do people adapt to new experiences and making a new home?
All right. I would love for you to turn and talk with your groups about this question and really think about everything that we've talked about the last couple of weeks. Think about all of the different stories that we have read about how people can adapt to new experiences and make a new place home.
The best part of having a diverse school is that when people come in from everywhere, it's like you're learning about them and learning what they eat. Like in these stories, they're letting us know that she wasn't comfortable enough because she thought people were going to bully her. So it's letting us know that being different is good. So how most people adapt by calling homes, talking to family. How about you?
Everything that you left behind in a new country, because I moved from another country to here. It was difficult at first, but I was able to adapt because I went to a school with people different from me and some people that speak my language, so I was able to make new friends and be able to learn.
How do you adapt to a new experiences and make a new place your home?
By making friends. Share your culture.
Making friends?
Share your culture, learn the language. By learning
Yes.
language.
And you guys can learn from each other too.
Yeah.
Because where are you from? I forgot.
Honduras.
Honduras. She's from Puerto Rico. Guatemala.
Who would like to share something that their group discussed about how people can adapt to new experiences and make a new place home?
Jose and Alicia connected to each other and joined forces to make their strengths more.
So he mentioned Elisa's diary, how they connected and joined forces. Can we add to that and explain what does that mean?
That they joined together and taught each other skills they're both good at. And Elisa ended up becoming a teacher to teach kids how to adapt to surroundings, just like she had to.
Excellent. I love that. And sharing it with friends. Absolutely. Ramilson, do you want to add to that group?
Some people, when you come from a new country, you shouldn't hide for who you are. You should be proud to share your culture and make your differences something good. Because you see how at first she didn't know anybody, but she was able to share her culture and the food there. And she said that she was going to show a little of her culture another day at school.
I love that. Yes, Shadriana.
The question that you're about to say, were you about to say what does culture mean?
I wasn't going to, but did you want to talk about what that means?
Yeah. In the stories they talk about her culture and how they had to put their differences aside just a little so they could make it work, because they didn't just adjust to America really fast, because she hated the supermarket because back then in her home country they're more nice and friendly and they weren't as cold, but here they're rude and they don't care. And they had to push their differences aside just for that to work. So culture is something that's it's a tradition that gets passed on from your ancestor.
I love that. That's a really awesome answer. Santos, what did you share with your group? I see a lot of this. All right, excellent. All right, very good job sharing and remembering a lot of the things that we've talked about. If you take a look at your My Books on page 208, you have your yellow highlighted vocabulary words. Okay, we have sponsors. Can we say sponsor?
Sponsor.
Generosity.
Generosity.
Goodwill.
Goodwill.
Grateful.
Grateful.
Exception.
Exception.
And sensible.
Sensible.
when you see these words in the text, I would like to remind you to use your vocabulary strategies when it comes to determining the meaning of those words and what those words mean in context. So you have your highlighted, bolded words. Don't forget to use your context clues. You have your glossary definition at the bottom of the page, and also you have access to the vocabulary cards that the group leader or assistant come up and access at any point in time should you need it throughout the reading. And our big focus for today, we are reading to, of course, comprehend and to ask and answer questions about the text as good readers do to build our comprehension. But our bigger focus here is also to search for and think about the theme. Turn and talk with your groups about what is theme and how can we find the theme in a story.
What is the whole story about?
What you can learn from.
Team is like the whole story. That's what I think.
What is theme and how can we determine theme when we're reading a story? What is the genre, Janelli? Poetry. Which we have read multiple poems this year so far. We actually just read one that Vlad had brought up, right? A Movie on My Pillow, which is a similar experience about adapting. So I'm really excited to read about a different culture. Before you begin reading, make sure that you are discussing the genre and reading the genre on page 208. I would also like you to take a picture walk before you read. Take a picture walk, talk about what you notice, make predictions. And last but not least, before you begin, make sure you set a purpose for reading. There is always a purpose for why we are reading the story. You are going to set a purpose for reading. Everyone sees the box on page 208 where it says set a purpose. And you are going to write down what do you know about feeling inside out in an unfamiliar place. Once you have completed these steps, you can go ahead and get started with reading, discussing, highlighting, annotating, and working together with your groups to read the poem. Before we begin, does anybody have any questions? Any questions before we begin about what we need to be doing?
Alright, want to take a picture walk and make a picture?
Yeah, make a picture. Let's see. So, yeah. I think this page is like about her leaving her home and she's just looking back.
Because in most of the pictures, she looks like a calm, decent person and how she loves going outside. So I think we're going to be learning about how she adapted to the environment and being able to go to school and following her culture and not being scared of doing the things that she would usually do back in her hometown. Want to add on anything?
I'm pretty sure she's probably going to be the different person in class because as you can see that she's all different from everyone.
Yeah. Say that you think she's different. Yeah, new friends and new school and new teacher. Yeah, how everything is gonna be different.
So, ¿qué crees que va a pasar en la historia? Nada más mirando las fotos.
Viva Elisa.
Elisa?
Sí, Lisa.
Now, do you remember her name?
Ha.
Ha. So what do you think is going to happen in the story? Look at the pictures. Does she look happy? Does she? Franklin, does she look happy on this picture? No. She looks sad. But why? Why do you guys think she's sad?
Because she could be moving to a new country or a new place and leaving her other home behind with her friends or leaving their friends behind.
It's your turn, Chase?
So how do you feel?
Feel nervous, scared. You don't know what's coming.
Well, if you're going to a new place and everybody's speaking English and you don't know English,
Yeah,
it could be hard because you don't know
you don't
what they're saying and what the meaning is. So it's hard to get your work done, hard to make more friends if no one speaks what you're speaking. And you have no idea what the person. And in your mind, you feel like everyone's making fun of you. You want to fit in, but you just can't fit in. Maths. Oh. Do you pronounce that? No. You try and read it. Grass. In front of every house.
Do you want to try to read it?
Okay. Look what it says. The speaker of the poem. Good job.
And she came, I don't know how to pronounce the word, but she came from Sag. Is the Sag word?
South Saigon.
Saigon. South.
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
No.
Good job.
Be surprised. I hate surprises. Ways is Han different by the end of the section? In what ways is she the same?
She's different because she learned more vocabulary. She learned more English throughout the whole story. Every page she got better and better with English.
Oh, she's the same because like Edison said, she still learned some English. Her vocabulary got better, but she still doesn't know like English as well.
Yeah, she only knows the basics of it.
And she's still the same because she's the same person, you know.
Yeah, her personality doesn't change too much.
But her personality did change because she, since she's making friends, she got a new point of view.
Talk about it with your groups. Don't just highlight right away. Talk about it first and then highlight.
Pronouncing the S's, trying to get it like hiss every S right, and the teacher thinks he's like not being serious and joking around. Yeah, because she doesn't. The teacher doesn't know that she's from a different country.
That's hard.
You can't speak. Yeah.
What happens when she tries to introduce herself to the teacher?
The teacher gives like a meaner tone to her.
Can we look back at that stanza?
And when she tries to when she says her name, the teacher thinks that she's saying like ha ha ha.
Yes.
And she's laughing.
When she's really trying to tell her, what is she actually trying to tell her?
That's her name. My name is Ha.
So it makes it kind of a bit of an awkward situation, right? Can we highlight that part? But we are going to bring it back together as a class at this time. Make a connection to the poem that we've read today, Inside Out and Back Again. This could be a connection to yourself. This could be a connection to another story or text that we have read. This could also be a connection to the world. And I've actually heard some of you already talking about connections. Sebastian, can you actually share the connection that you had, that something that this story reminded you of?
This book reminded me of that movie Inside Out because in the beginning they moved to a new house.
Did you hear what he said? Who's ever seen the movie Inside Out? And so Sebastian brought up how, like, in that movie, she has to also adapt because she moves to a new house. And it says here, feeling inside out, that feeling of being in a new place, right? And feeling scared and nervous and all of those feelings. And I thought that was a really interesting and cool connection, especially since in that movie it talks a lot about like her different feelings and emotions that she goes through. And would that be a self, text, or world connection? That'd be a text to world connection. All right, what else? What are some other connections that we can make to this poem that we read today? This, again, could be self, text, or world.
Think how people go to different schools. They have to adapt of what new school, like it could be small, it could be big, and it's really different for them to know how to adapt there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Shadriana.
To yourself, like the theme of the story. Okay.
That's okay, you can just share whatever you feel in your heart to share.
I found out it was not giving up. So like to yourself, like you can like change that on yourself because some people are hard on themselves, tough on themselves, and then like they want everything to be perfect. I'm talking about myself. and it's hard to make things adjust because you're used to having everything the same. So like today we all had to adjust and we all have a different schedule. It's just a little different.
Who felt like they could relate to her and how she felt? Edison, do you want to talk about that?
My parents moved here from Guatemala to here, and they're having a tough time learning English. So yeah.
Very good. Did anyone else have parents that moved here from another country that also have to learn? Well, a lot of us. All right, fantastic.
Today's lesson set students up for the upcoming tasks because they were able to get a firm grasp on the overall message of the story, and they were able to summarize the story so that way in the upcoming lessons they can go back and they can close read and they can dissect the text and to dig even deeper than they did today. I really loved the connections that I saw my students make to their personal lives today. Some of them were able to open up about their experiences being from an immigrant family or being an immigrant themselves. And so I love that not only were they able to personally connect, but they also connected with each other because they were bonding over that same feeling of feeling alone and scared in a new place and having to adapt and having to make new friends and having to be like in this scary world and learn this difficult language with all these grammar rules as they discussed today. So I love that they were just able to connect on a much deeper level.